Good morning. My name is Diane Alsing, and I'm here to moderate today's Organizational Agility session. We are holding a panel discussion this morning with 4 top speakers who presented at PMI Global Congress North America in Orlando, Florida. Today we will be discussing key takeaways from these sessions. This is designed to be a highly interactive session, so please join in and send in your questions via the question panel. Please include the presenter's name, to whom you are addressing the questions. I'd like to make some introductions now. Again, my name is Diane Alsing, and I am a certified project management professional with over 12 years experience in ERP and CRM product implementations and over 20 years in IT and business finance. Currently, as the director of the Microsoft Dynamics practice for Experis, I provide leadership and support to project delivery teams, manage project economics, and streamline operations by strategically planning and tactically implementing effective systems, processes, and controls. Next, I'd like to introduce today's presenters. First, I'd like to introduce Suhail Iqbal, whose topic at Global Congress was leading the construction industry to Lean Agile project management. Suhail is a civil engineer by profession and a veteran PMP since 2002. He holds all 8 certifications of PMI in addition to Prince 2 practitioner and a complete series of Scrum certifications. Suhail is a regular keynote speaker in Pakistan on PMI and other noted events. He has 35 plus years of construction and project management experience in the Pakistan Army Corps of Engineers, NADRA, and Syscom International Limited, a professional development center of excellence. Next, I'd like to introduce Donna Ritchie-Winkleman, who at Congress presented Project Management of Information Technology Organizational Transformation, a real-world case study. Donna is a project manager for the state of Missouri and serves as the PMI Mid-Missouri Chapter's VP of Financial Affairs. A PMP since 2006, she holds a BS in Computer Information Systems and an MS in Engineering Management. She has 30-plus years of business-focused experience in the state, federal, and private sectors, including leading projects for a Fortune 500 company. Donna champions training, communication, and best practices. Next, we have Yves Cavarac, whose topic at Congress was toward hyper-agility. Yves is a consultant, author, and speaker on organizational efficiency and team success, including in project, program, portfolio, and change management. He has worked for more than 15 years in project, program, portfolio, and organizational change management across a vast scale and scope of industry and contexts. Yves' history with PMI has been rich and rewarding. He has volunteered with PMI since 2006. Yves has an MBA from the prestigious French business school ESCP Europe. Finally, I'd like to introduce Kirsten Laura, who presented Trend Watch, How Megatrends and Changing Business Models Are Transforming Project Management. Kirsten is a certified project management professional and ITIL practitioner who specializes in product development, new business startups, and establishing project management offices. Kirsten has over 15 years experience in managing IT, product, and educational programs for clients. She has worked extensively as a project and program manager in the IT, insurance, state government, and educational industries. So welcome to all of you, and thank you for being here. Let's get started. First, I'd like to speak with Suhail Iqbal. Suhail, was the idea of using Agile in construction accepted by the audience when you were giving your presentation?
Thank you, Dan. Good morning, good evening, and good night, respectively, to all the audience. Yes, this question of acceptance was a difficult one, but it was very interesting during the Congress. Once I was presenting these things, I saw that most of the people who came there to attend the session, they wanted to know how this strange concept of applying agility in construction can be possible. So in a way, the audience was expecting the acceptance of this concept. I just had to convince them, to give them some ideas. So it was very soon after I had introduced the concept, people started nodding their heads, and there was widespread acceptance on the topic. The reason being, I actually involved another noted author and practitioner, Dr. William Moylan. He incidentally was there in my session also, and he is teaching construction in Michigan University. So he was instrumental in conveying the message to the audience, and audience did understand the concept, and they were right from the beginning, they were ready and they accepted the idea.
Thank you, Suhail. What is the fine balance to maintain between lean and agile in Agile construction?
Right. This was the next important question. Previously, in the previous question, we just talked about Agile. But as you understand that my topic was Lean Agile, Lean and Agile are two different approaches. They are unique, they are separate, they are different. But at the same time, I wanted them to be joined together, married up into a comprehensive strategy to be used in construction. Now, we wanted to understand whether Lean and Agile can be used together, and if it can be used together, how it can be used together. So, once we tried to formulate whether Lean and Agile can be used together, there was a widespread opposition or difference of opinion, because some people think that Lean can be used in Agile. Some people think that Agile can be used to facilitate Lean, but both of these ideas put aside, why Lean and Agile not be used at the same level of importance. Now, once we discussed a number of construction projects, we found that every construction project would have a different requirement. If the requirements are fixed, then probably Agile is not really very much possible, although I don't exclude the idea of agility. Similarly, if we want speed and flexibility, probably we have to do a little balance on the Lean side, and we have to accommodate a little waste possibility, and then we would be doing the things faster. So anyways, the result was there was a very fine balance to be maintained between the Lean and Agile.
Thank you, Suhail. And I have one more question. If the idea of lean agility for construction projects is acceptable, what is the way forward? A Lean Agile methodology or just a framework?
Right, that was ultimately the conclusion we were getting on to. Once we have established that Lean and Agile can work together, and the proportion of Lean and Agile could differ. If we could have a fixed quantity of Lean and a fixed quantity of Agile to be used, then we could go for a methodology. But because it can never be possible for a project, especially a construction project, to be equally Lean and equally Agile, so we cannot come up with a methodology. So the conclusion was that...
Excuse me, Suhail, could you adjust your audio for us? We're having trouble hearing you.
Okay, just a minute, I'll just do that. Am I audible now? Okay. So what I was saying was that Lean and Agile both cannot be used in the same proportion, therefore we cannot come up with a ready-made methodology. The only thing we can suggest is a framework in which you can put your project and see how much Lean and how much Agile you need to be, and using that framework, you develop your own methodology. It is just like having PMI-PBA, as a framework, and you can have any number of methodologies coming out of it.
Thank you. And from your presentation and your time at Global Congress, can you summarize your key takeaways from your session and from your experience there at Global Congress?
Of course, of course. You see, it was a very interesting experience because initially I prepared this presentation to be more of a presentation, but it turned out to be a very interactive session, We had certain discussions, group discussions and all that, due to which these 3 questions came out and I got answers for them. So the first thing was Lean, Agile and Lee Agile are all theoretically possible in construction. This was established. This was established that we can be Lean in construction, we can be Agile in construction, or we can join them together. So this is theoretically possible. Now the only thing remaining is how to make it work. So my next research paper would probably be focused on that. Then the next takeaway was Lean and Agile, when used together as a Lee Agile kind of a framework, must be handled with a lot of care. Because as I explained earlier, there is a very fine balance. You have to find that appropriate balance and you have to customize your project according to that. And that would ultimately result in the third takeaway, as each construction project will have its own balance between Lean and Agile priorities, as I just said. So we can't have the methodology. We can't have one single methodology to deal with all the projects. Therefore, we must have a framework or a guideline that will ascertain the balance between Lean and Agile for specific projects and handle specific situations, and we can develop a methodology according to that.
Thank you, Suhail. Can you explain by example how Lean and Agile cannot always be used together?
Right. This question was put up by Abe, and I did not ever mention that Lean and Agile cannot work together. What I said was that Lean and Agile can be used together in certain proportions. Sometimes the proportion of the Lean features is more important in this section than Agile. So Agile will still exist, but in that case, we will be leaning more towards the Lean side, and vice versa. So this has to be clarified that I never said that Lean and Agile cannot be used together.
Okay, thank you. And back to Kirsten, sorry. Good point. I have another question for Suhail. Suhail, what is the break point between Lean and Agile?
Right, thank you. This is a very interesting question because deciding the breakpoint between Lean and Agile is a very critical kind of a thing. Now, we have to understand the difference between the two. In a project, while we are trying to be Lean, we are focusing on value, bringing value to the customer, and we are trying to reduce the waste. On the other hand, if we want to be Agile, we are going with speed, simplicity, and flexibility. That way, we are gaining more customer satisfaction. Now, the breakpoint would be decided with these 3 things. First, you have to compare the value versus the speed you want, how fast you want to gain any speed. Secondly, waste versus simplicity. Do you want to be more focused towards the elimination of waste, or you want to work faster and simply adopt simplicity? You want to give customer value or satisfaction? I understand that value will also give satisfaction to the customer, but customer wants to interact, bring changes into the requirements, and you have to comply. If that be the case, then you are going towards more Agile. I am not saying that Agile and Lean do not exist in isolation. But what we are focusing here is joining them together. So joining them together would be in some kind of proportion. As in the previous question, I was asking to give an example. A very simple thing is you are constructing a bridge and it is to be completed in 12 months. What if your customer asks you to do it in half the time? So what do? If we are doing a lean project, then we do understand that there will be loss of quality. The waste will be more. Any kind of waste, it could be a time waste, it could be the raw material waste, it could be the end product waste, whatever waste is going to be more. So you have to, what is more important to you? To comply with the customer requirement or to reduce the waste. So this is how you decide the break point between lean and agile.
Suhail,